power, yeah.
Shalom, bro.
Shalom.
We are the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're here located at Norfolk, Virginia, at 2016 Granby Street. And we have the other schools as well, Houston, Virginia, Rochester, San Antonio. And she's going to be posting up their locations, their class times, and days, and as well as their addresses. So she'll definitely put that online there. But as far as here, with Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and class days. So yeah, we also have these different avenues too. So you have the Blog Talk Radio with Michelle, right? That's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. And she's gonna put that information up there on the screen as well. If you wanna tune into those classes when you're waking up early in the morning, you just wanna get your morning started right? Get your mind moving, get your thoughts moving, right? Making sure that you're in the right spirit and in the right mind. So we also have, for that as well, we have the Hidden Truth, the Israelite Media Corps, 5 Minutes of Wisdom. And then for the young kids, the young children, right? Like 9 and under, 10 and under, or 9 and under? 10, we're gonna say 10 and under, right? You have the kids class. So that's live on Sundays on YouTube as well too, so you can definitely tune into that. But they'll be putting up the links for those channels on the screen as well. And along with that, we have Israelwear. So if you're trying to get your French game up, right, your Israelite apparel up, we have the Israelwear. So that's on the isbhpk.com/FrenchDub or Israelwear. So you can subscribe if you like. It's just a t-shirt each month, right? That's $35 a month. And if you want a t-shirt with a headband, you can get that as well. They do detailed work, so why not get it? Why not? If you're saying you're Israelite, you love your culture, you love your people, well, why not show them a different standard of just dressing? That sparks people's attention. We get it all the time in the mall with our uniform shirts. Right? They like your style. That's stylish. Right? You can spark a conversation just off your clothing. So why not be that example and fall in love with your culture? Just in the apparel sense. And then now we have the Hebrew Academy as well for brothers that want to become priests. You want to learn how to be a priest, a teacher, a guide, a leader, an instructor, starting at home, but then trickling that down to the body of the ministry. We have Hebrew Academy for that. And just even for yourself, you get yourself right, sharpening your tools, your sword, so that you can be able to fight against your own thoughts, your own mind, right? Your own example. So we have that Hebrew Academy, and they post the days for that as well online. Norfolk and Rochester are on the same days, Mondays. Houston, Texas is on Tuesdays, so that information is online. And if you're not live, if you're not local, you can definitely tap in with Houston. They do Zoom, so you can definitely do that. And you can contact the priest as well. Priest CHAAZAQYA's number and Priest CHAAZAQYA's number will be on the screen. And as you see, Priest CHAAZAQYA and his number is online. So if you want to tune in with the Zoom for the Hebrew Academy, you can contact Priest CHAAZAQYA just to get tied in with the Houston Hebrew Academy. And as well as just if you want to counsel, you can hit them both up, counsel, questions, whatever. So, and then we have the business as well too, the Sweet Ambiance. We have a couple businesses, you have the Sweet Ambiance and the Chosen Creations. So we're trying to get that one up and running. Sweet Ambiance is up and running. Been up and running for some years now. Been facilitating for the school and brothers that don't want to work around Esau, or brothers and sisters that are still in the world, right? And you don't want to be engaged in worldly conversation. We have that avenue as well. So this facilitates the school just in so many different ways. So we also have the Chosen Creations coming in, and we just want to have decorative things for your household, right? The learning tools for your children, right? They have an ABC chart for the kids with numbers on it, right? So you have that as well. And then you have the jewelry, right? The jewelry on Chosen Creations, and you can get anything done with that. So you can get a design that you want, your name in Hebrew, a scripture in Hebrew, a prayer, right? You can get that as well. So that is what we have. We also have donations too, so they're going to put that on the screen. They're going to put the donations on the screen, right? If you would like to assist the Wells Fargo, the Cash App, right, the Zelle, whatever you want to do to be able to further the ministry of the Most High. So when you put your buck, you put your buck in the spirit when it comes from a willing heart. So, yes, sir. And that'll be it for the announcements. Does anybody have any questions? Class, online? I know everybody online is still trying to tap in.
Right.
Bro, you got a question or not?
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
In Isaiah 11 and 2.
Isaiah 11 and 2. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 11 verse 2.
Yeah.
And the Spirit of the Most High shall rest upon him.
Mm-hmm.
The Spirit of wisdom.
Right.
And the Spirit of
Now, for y'all that might not know where we're at a prophecy where it was prophesied what would happen when the Messiah, the Mashiach, would receive the Holy Spirit. And it goes through a list of characteristics that he was gonna embody. Okay? So the spirit of what? Wisdom
and understanding.
Right. So these characteristics, when we get the Holy Spirit on us, these are the things that we're embodying. Right? So you can't say, oh, I got the Spirit of the Lord on me, and you're not using correct intellect and wisdom around you. The Spirit of the Lord don't work like that. You know what I mean? You can't be a dummy and say, well, I'm an Israelite, I got the Spirit of the Lord on me. The Spirit of the Lord got to come on you through application of the knowledge. Right? That's how it comes on us. It don't come on us by just us saying it, but it comes out by us by doing it, right? Be not hearers of the word, but doers, right? Okay, so the spirit of wisdom is what? The correct application of knowledge. So you get the knowledge, right? This is how you put gas in your tank. You're going to open up the gas tank. You're going to slide the holes in. You're going to click it, right? You fill up your gas like that. If you don't do it that way, that means what? You don't have knowledge. You're not wise. You don't know. You don't know in that perspective, right? Because you don't even know how to apply it. That's everything. Wisdom is the correct application of knowledge, right? How do you know he's wise at, or he has intellect at changing the brakes? Because he can walk you through it, he can do it, he can perform it, and then after the brakes are done, there's not going to be a problem, all right? Got to say that too, right? Because you got makeshift what? Cats that work out, what are they called? Cats that work on cars? Mechanics that what? Oh yeah, I can do it myself, but really don't get it done? Really messes your car up, right? That ain't wisdom. You're trying to be wise, but you haven't really studied the knowledge to actually do it, right? You haven't really practiced to actually do it. By all means, your heart might be right on changing your brakes. But the outcome is what? If it's not fixed, what is the outcome?
You lack the knowledge.
And what happens when you don't fix your brakes right? Let me wake you up this Sabbath. Everybody's in freeze mode right now. What happens if you don't fix your brakes right? CHAAZAQYA, when they didn't fix your oil right, and they put on a faulty cap, what happened? It kept leaking. Right? If you don't do the brakes right, what's going to happen? You ain't going to be able to stop. There's going to be a problem. You see how it makes sense totally when we talk about carnal things? Right? How come it ain't like that with the knowledge of the Most High? Why is it not that same logic? Why do we think we can just have the knowledge, don't perform it correctly, and then expect it to work? Well, Christ, he performed it correctly. He used the knowledge of the Most High, and that's why he was wise, right? Go ahead.
And understanding.
And understanding, another point, and I know we're getting to your point, but we're going over this, so I want to break it down. Understanding, meaning that you literally know why. You literally understand or comprehend what the process is, right? You're getting the knowledge, then you're now understanding, why this is necessary. What do we do a lot? I know I do it a lot when it comes to putting up stuff, right? When it comes to putting up stuff, I leave stuff out, right? I go off of the head. I'm like, yeah, this is retarded, right?
Freestyle.
I'm trying to freestyle. That ain't gonna fix it.
Yeah. God.
I have to go back and read it properly. Because what happens is when I don't go back and read it properly, there's pieces left out.
Right.
There's part of the bookcase is messed up. Part of the TV counter is messed up. Right?
God.
But that's how it is with all of us. And we don't understand that because you don't really understand the knowledge and apply the knowledge correctly. You're not going to have no true understanding why it's necessary to do it that way. And we get that a lot in this day and age, right? People can't just understand why the Most High says to do it a certain way. We've been going over that in the law a lot, right? You know, the sanctuary, the candles, the sacrifice, the details of it. And you're like, is that really necessary? Right? To have a candle guy, to have the censer guy, right? To have the incense guy, right? To have the curtain guy. Why can't one just do it all? Because, like CHAAZAQYA keeps telling me, she can't do everything, right? One sister, two sisters, three sisters can't do everything. You need sisters to help, right? You need sisters to help. So, did your rib come? Your rib came? Your wife?
She's good. She is.
Okay, all right. Because we're going to need a seat for her. It looks like we got one behind her. Right, so, y'all see that, right? Does that make sense? Does it? Like, we have to really understand the process. That way, when you teach others, you're going to be able to be convicted, right? And be able to go through in detail and show them how to do it. And that's in anything. And I know all of us got many different degrees and many different things you're good in. Just because I may know the Bible, I might not know how to change brakes. I might not know how to do your job, right? So I would have to literally be taught. That's the same thing with the knowledge. Just because you hear a few scriptures, that don't make you a scholar. Just because you did a little studying, that doesn't make you a scholar, right? Because even all the years of my studying, it's still, you realize that you don't got everything, right? That you still need to keep learning and studying. That's how the Most High works, right? And other things too, right? You think you're the master technician until what? Somebody else comes along and shows you, wait a minute, let me show you this, right? So this is the spirit Yahushua had on him. Wisdom, understanding, what else?
The spirit of counsel.
The spirit of counsel, and that's your question, right? What was your question on that?
How do we know when we attain that ability to counsel, correctly? To give someone counsel.
To be able to give somebody counsel, right? That's a good question. Like, how do I know? Because we be talking about it a lot. We have a rule in here. No young sisters give your number out to any new sisters. Right? It's not that we don't want you to be friends and buddies. It's that when somebody new comes in the door, automatically they're going to be thinking, oh, I can talk to anybody. But not knowing this sister got multiple personality disorder, that's not the sister you want to talk to. Right? And it's nothing personal, remember. But you got sick brothers and sisters that come in and that don't know. So you give you hear me tell the stories all the time, right? We let the young brother ride with the doubtful brother. Be like, hey, bro, he seems like a good brother. But we have to be conscious that there's wolves among us. He gave that brother a ride one day and that brother never showed up again. Why? Because in the brother that was giving him a ride, there's so much doubt in him. He's going to get in the car and what? Oh yeah, doubt, double-minded. And he just destroyed the piece of fly that is tender. You see that? Don't get nobody's number in here unless it's an officer or a leader. Period. All right, we got to say that straight out. Right? You're not counseling. If you ain't got rank, because the ranking brothers know what? They what?
They know how to counsel.
Right, and if they don't, what else do they know?
Send it up to the
They what?
Send it to the man above.
Okay, new women, they usually don't know that. And a lot of these young sisters in the school, they don't know that, right? What do they know? Oh, she's just talking to me, so I'm going to talk to her like women in the world. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That's not counsel. Right? So, warning to the new brothers, the new sisters. All right? So, this is a good question. So, go to, let's start from Hebrews 5 and 12. How do you know you're ready to give counsel?
How?
Well, there is a process. I know this is the ego tweaker. This is the ego twerker, right? You swear you know Christ is black. You know the 12 tribes of Israel. You got the right to give wisdom too, right? But that's not what the Bible says. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, when I came in, me, myself, I understood this. As a young man, I understood at 15 years old, I had a lot of scriptures loaded up, but I didn't have experience. So it doesn't matter because I knew Christ was black. And a lot of y'all know a lot of scriptures, but you still think like the world. Your decisions and your choices is still worldly and niggerish. Right? So, how is it that all of a sudden you're wise one minute and the next minute you're doing foolish stuff that you can't even control? Y'all gotta let the ego go. And understand that this is not about ego. This should be about let me help the brother or sister. And like the brother Racha, the sister called him the other day and said, hey, she started venting, right? Well, she's not around. She barely comes to class, right? You know, it's another brother's rib, and she thought she could vent to him. He did it perfectly. Sis, I'm not the brother you want to talk to about this. You know what I mean? First of all, he don't know what's going on. He don't know what's going on with her. He don't know what issues she got. He don't know all these things. Why would he try to dive in and be a counselor all of a sudden? So what did he do, sis? I'm not the brother you need to talk to. You need to talk to CHAAZAQYA or CHAAZAQYA. They're gonna be able to deal with that. What she do? She hung up on him. Why? Because that's how you know her brain wasn't right. Because she should have respected that. She should have said what? Okay, brother, I get it. Salat, excuse me. But she's not around. But it's things like this that y'all gotta watch. People that don't really come around, that'll pop in, that'll shoot you their number, and they're counseling you all wrong. They're showing you the wrong example. Right? I want y'all to beware. Y'all being new, I want y'all to beware because you got so many people. There's a lot of brothers and sisters among us that their intentions are so good. And I'm not going to take that away from them. But their example is crappy. They don't know how to function the correct way, and they do more harm to brothers and sisters through their fake zeal. And that's why I said this is a good question. I was like, go ahead and ask it. But what's up? What's your question? You're going to have to hold it. You're going to hold it because I got a line of things. And then if they go with it, you go toss it in there, all right? But hold it. I'm not saying we don't want it. All right, but I want to go with this sequence to kind of walk us through a process of what he said, how we're going to get this spirit of counsel, right? For that sake, really, all the attributes that we're reading, right? Okay, read that. Hebrews 5 and 12.
Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
For the time ye ought to be teachers,
right?
Ye have need that one teach you again.
Stop. Now, I love you. This isn't about ego. This isn't about, oh, he's mean. He's being mean to me. Right? No, this ain't about me being mean. The Bible is telling us what? When you ought to teach somebody, you need to relearn. What you thought you knew, you don't know. Right? And it's going to tell us, how do you determine that? Well, how do you know? How do you know that person don't know? Or how do you know that person's not ready? It's going to tell us. It literally gives us the answer. Go ahead.
be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
This is what everybody wants to skip past. Everybody wants to teach, but nobody wants to learn the principles, the basics, the bare essential elements that needed to be learned in the gospel. This is a fault, because why? First of all, Israel, man, we are a proud people, right? We say it all the time. We're the master of none. What is it? I always say it wrong. The master of... How does it go? REI usually helps me with this one. The master of none. The jack of all trades, but the master of none. That's how we are. We're the jack of all trades, but the master of none. And it shows in our communities, in our households. The men, the women, they never stick through with anything. Right? They're half-assed at everything. And unfortunately, you try to bring this to being an Israelite. I'll be an Israelite this year. Next year, maybe I'll be a 5% or a Muslim. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. We have to understand that. Read, come on.
And are become such as have need of milk.
Right. So a baby, if you're in need of milk, you're a babe. You're putting yourself in baby position. Right? That means, what does a baby do? What does a baby do?
It eats, gets taught.
But I'm going to use it in a way to help your egos. We are servants to the babies. You see that? That means that they don't know. So we have to serve them and show them. Right? We have to walk them through the process of the pamper, the toilet, the peeing, the doodling, the milk. We walk them through that. And a baby, if you're coming as babes, as newborn babes, desiring the sincere milk, then you're ready to be what? What? Anybody? Anybody that's here with me in the middle of this moment right now, you have to be what? You have to be what? Taught. You have to be taught. Yeah. You have to be taught again because you think you know. But a baby's going to come and say, you know what? I don't know. Prove it to me. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Prove it to me, right? That's one thing Israel stands on, right? Prove all things. Hold fast to that which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also not wrong for you to learn and say, I don't know. Let me stop acting like I know and learn the process, right? Go ahead.
And not of strong meat.
And not of strong meat. Meaning what? What does the meat refer to? All you scholars in here. What does the meat refer to biblically? What else?
Basically, the more complicated matters that aren't your basics.
Right. Perfect. The more complicated matters, right? The deeper knowledge, right? That are not basics, right? Like you come in, you barely learn your Christ is black, but you want to know where the angel Michael sits. You know what I mean? I hear all that. I hear what y'all saying, but where does Michael sit at? Right? What side of the throne he sits on? It's like, can we start from let's wipe your ass first? Baby wipes, right? And I'm referring to the baby. Like the baby can't walk until it learns how to crawl, right? So just the process the Most High laid down for us. You see this? It's simple, right? But we don't look at this. This is not applicable to blacks, Hispanics, Native American, and all you mingle seats too. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Stop. Did I say you were less of a person? Did I say you were a bad person? What am I saying? I'm saying what the gospel is saying, that what? You're unskillful. But that hurts a lot of people's feelings. Bro, you don't know that. When they hear me say, listen, sis, don't get nobody's number, they're twerking on the inside. You should be saying, be humble and be meek and guide her house when I don't even believe that. I don't believe it. I'm over here yelling at him. I'm passing out on the kids. I'm like, I don't know how to take care of my own house. Right? How you going to tell a sister, listen, sis, you gotta be cleaned up when you don't even know how to clean up? You don't know how to take care of your kids. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's just pride comes into play. You're unskilled, and you just got to learn the skill and go through the process, right? One thing, meeting the brothers and sisters in Rochester, when I met Asa and Uriah out there, they asked me, they said, they called me and asked me a question, and it was an issue. And this is the first time I ever talked to them. And I said to them, I laughed and I said, do you really want me to tell you the truth? Because I don't want to offend y'all because I don't know y'all. Right? And they said, yeah. I said, but seriously, I'm going to tell you, but I don't want to offend you. They said, bro, you're good. I said, before y'all can even get into this subject, y'all need to learn the proper way. I said, y'all cannot be teachers if you don't learn how to be taught. And this is where I took it to. Hebrews 5 and 12. You see that? So, they had to, and they were humble enough, luckily, to say, you know what? You got a point, bro. We don't know. You know what? Take me through the process, right? So, once again, women, brothers, got to be humble enough to know that you don't know. So, no. I'm going to say it again for y'all sisters in here. You new sisters are not supposed to have any young sisters' phone numbers, contacts, calls, texts, none of that. Because y'all conversation don't be grown up in the spirit of the Most High. Go through the process. If you really care about that sister, go through the process of learning first so you can be a help to that sister. Can y'all agree with that?
God.
According to what the Bible says, can we all agree with that?
God.
Right? And if you can't, and we find out, we'll just suspend you then. You know what I mean? Because we already got one sister that told another sister something that she didn't even need to know. The sister never showed up again. It's not going to happen again.
God.
Right? It's not going to happen again. So I'm telling y'all because it's important for y'all to understand where his question, I'm using his question to remind y'all, it's serious that y'all get on the phone with these people and tell them the wrong damn thing. You don't know. If you don't know how to guide your house, do what the Bible says, learn. You don't know how to even take care of patience with your kid, your family, your husband, learn. Y'all get that? And it's not wrong for me to say that. I love you with all my heart, but I got to tell you the truth. What?
Someone said, I get nervous to ask questions, so I just listen until I learn more and get a better understanding. Am I wrong?
You're right and you're wrong. Yes, you're supposed to listen, but you're supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to ask questions. We're not the school to where a woman can't talk, a brother can't talk. Raise your hand. We say be respectful and ask your question because a lot of these questions, like his question that he's asking tonight about counsel, like somebody else needed that. Like he said it the other class. He was like, damn, I'm glad you went through with answering that brother's question because lately we just go over classes. He's like, I'm glad you answered this question. It really helped me out, both of them. So y'all got to think at a wider level and understand that your question might actually help somebody else that is thinking the same way. So don't be afraid to ask questions. That's what we're here to do, ask the questions. Now, the only time you see us like look weird is if you ask that question 100 times. Not twice, not 3 times. I even take it 5 or 6 or 7. I'll take it the complete number 7 times. But once you get after that, it's like, wait a minute, we went over that with y'all. Like, why are you asking that, right? Like, what's bothering you? Okay, let's go. Let's figure that out now, right? in church.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we got to get our questions answered, right? And then the more questions you ask, trust me, the more knowledge you'll get. It'll be like some brothers and sisters just don't really ask because they don't study a lot, and then they just, like you, learning, right? So back to your question, counsel, right? We're learning that in order to gain these attributes, we have to be taught. And we have to be taught again, right? Okay. We have to understand that we were unskillful, right? And that skill had to grow, right? Go ahead.
For he is a babe.
Right. He is a what?
He is a babe.
She is a what?
A babe.
A baby. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14. But strong meat belonging to them
right.
that are of full age.
Right. So when we get into the more meaty foods of the knowledge, right, that belongs unto people older, right, in the mind, in the spirit. And that's a lot of times you sisters get on the phone and start telling the sister something or just saying things. It's like, you're not even listening to this sister. Brothers do it too. It's like, you're not even listening to what really is the problem, is what I mean. Right? And you're coming at it the incorrect way. Right? You're giving the wrong counsel. Right? And you're not coming at it at that angle. And a lot of times it's because you don't know how to deliver counsel, and you never went through the tutors and governors to counsel. Right? Go ahead, read on.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised.
There you go. They have what?
Their senses exercised.
So what needs to happen before we become these counselors and teachers and all these things? Our senses, our spiritual spiritual sense needs to what? Be exercised. That means when you come in, how do you know they're exercised? Well, we gauge them. If I get a report from a husband that his rib is acting like a 15-year-old teenager, right? And she's out of order, and she's argumentative, and she's disgruntled, and she's going back and forth, why would I send her to go counsel another sister? How does that make sense? It says iron sharpeneth iron. Right? Right. It says the strong shall bear the infirmities of the weak. You cannot give somebody that's weak in the faith, right, and over to somebody else that's weak in the faith. What will happen to that individual? They'd be destroyed. If the blind lead the blind, they what? Nobody? What? Yo, they both what? They both fall into a ditch. Right? So you can't send a young sister to go do that. And it's unfortunate that young sisters don't understand that. It's not personal, right? It's that you don't know what you're doing right now, and you're going to do more harm than more help. Right? Go ahead.
To discern both good and evil.
Now, how do you know she is exercised? How do you know he's exercised? Because he's able to discern good and evil. Remember we talked about it the other day? If 24 hours you're in the spirit and the next 24 hours you got Satan ruling you, what is that showing us?
Improper balance.
She doesn't know how to her senses are not exercised to deal with her spiritual battles. Because there's no way you should be able to be thrown out of the spirit that easily. Right? And let those spirits get you in another mold. You didn't see Yahushua one minute he's in the spirit, the next minute he's crying, he's laughing, he's crying, he's laughing. He's like, man, today I'm gonna be in the spirit. Right? He didn't do that. Right? You didn't see no apostles doing that. Right? Just emotionally distraught one minute and the next minute they were faithful. Right? No. There was a consistency. And I'm not saying people didn't doubt. I'm talking about demons ruling you. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that we're not human, because I went over that class yesterday. We're going to make mistakes. I'm talking about a person that literally goes demonic. Lets all the scriptures be dumped out of the window, the order, the discipline, the respect, because of their emotions. That's a person that don't got no control. Their senses are not exercised, right? And that's why we got to be aware of that, right? That's how you know. We're starting to answer your question now. This is how we know who's a good counselor. What is the process that will happen for this person to be a good counselor? They be what? They be taught and they be exercised. They be exercised with it, right? Once again, when we go to Peter, Paul, John, Matthew, Mark, remember, all these men had to do what? They had to be taught. They had to go through the process like Elisha, right? So in order to be a good counselor, a good leader, you had to be led properly, right? One instance, the leader is telling you what? If your rib got to get out of order, smack her ass, right? That's counsel a lot of that nowadays. The other saying is what? Women are nothing, right? They're all wicked anyway, right? Khan, you with me on that? Do they not teach that?
I think I've heard that.
Yeah. Just something to that degree, right? They're all wicked. You don't really got to put your spirit into them and teach them, right? That's the mind state. That's not good counsel, brother. The other counsel is what? What's the other counsel? What Will Smith should do. Yeah, it's funny, but I'm trying to show you why it's necessary to understand this process. Because it'd be easy for you to discern who's retarded. Because just how, with the counsel that he gave, that don't make any sense. Why would you tell somebody to commit adultery? Why would you tell your congregation that that's okay? Why would you not come back and say, you know what, I was wrong? Right? There's so many things wrong with that. You don't lead people to adultery while teaching against adultery. Which one is it, brother? Right? Not a good counselor, right? Because whoever he was with either taught him that, because as a leader is, so is his officers, right? Or they didn't check him and tell him what? Bro, you're tripping. Like, that's off. Right? So y'all get this, right? Why it's important to go through the process. It's nothing personal against you, sisters. And we promote unity and sisterhood. But unfortunately, a lot of y'all don't know what that means yet. Y'all still think like ratchet women in the world. And you're not giving advice and wisdom according to the knowledge. So if you got a new sister's text right now, lose it. Read.
Chapter 6.
Go ahead. Oh, that's it on that. So their senses are exercised. Go to Proverbs. Go to Ecclesiasticus 1 and 19. Ecclesiasticus 1 verse 19. So his question is on counsel. His question is on counsel. Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 and verse 19.
Go ahead.
Wisdom reigneth down, skill and knowledge.
You see that? See, if you go through the process, wisdom rain down skill. So if you're asking, well, how do you know a brother's ready? Well, they'll go through the process that the scriptures say, the principles, the basics, right? Because then that will give you the skill, right? That will give you the direction in which way to go, right? Excuse me. So wisdom bringing down what?
Skill.
Go ahead.
And knowledge of understanding.
You see that? So the wisdom will give it to you, but how do you get it? Your senses got to be exercised with the wisdom, right? So there got to be a lot of tutelage, a lot of learning. Wives, you're learning from your husband. Your kids are learning from you. If your kids don't go through the process and are not humble to listen to your advice, your counsel, and they're listening to Joe Dummy at school, then who they gonna act like? Joe Dummy. Where's their advice gonna come from? Joe Simpleton, right? Or Susie Simpleton, right? That's what they're gonna do. Same thing with the wives. Wives, if you don't do what the scripture says, be obedient unto your husbands as unto the Lord, and understand that your husband is your counselor. He's your mama. He's your daddy. He's your counselor. He's your best friend. He's everybody, right? Then what's going to happen is you're still going to go through counsel from who? Come on, give it to me. I'm going to wake y'all up on the Sabbath. Let me wake them up. They froze. Everybody's froze. This is y'all face. Y'all like, get out of freeze mode. What?
You're going to listen for your mama.
You're going to listen to your mama. Who else?
What is it? Red Table Talk?
Red Table Talk? Will and Jada?
Yeah.
Come on. What else they going to listen to?
They're going to listen to all the people that they got counsel from the world.
Look, this guy's 8 years old, bro. What? No, how old are you now? 9 years old. He knows that. Right, CHAAZAQYA, y'all give up y'all seats. Let this sister sit right here. Let them sit over there. Y'all don't have to. Is there any in those 2 seats? Okay. All right. So come up here. You pull up here, and then one of them can get there. And then what's that? That seat's open, right?
Yeah, that's open.
Okay. All right. Come on up here. CHAAZAQYA, you sit next to. Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect. Y'all. There it is. Y'all 2 right there. There's nobody next to you? Okay, so one next to him, CHAAZAQYA, and then CHAAZAQYA, you sit there. All right, there you go. We're trying to get out of here. The spot, we potentially got a new spot. Because when everybody gets here, it's going to be like this. Yeah.
They also listen to the videos on YouTube.
They listen to videos on YouTube.
Sometimes this kid in my class, he watched YouTube and he did this thing from what this he did and he said I picked it up from YouTube.
Right. Everything they do, everything we do, it sounds very they sound very minute, right? But that's what grown-ups are doing, right? Getting it from YouTube, getting it from their mama, their daddy. So, once again, counsel. His question is on counsel, and how do you know? How do you know when you're ready to counsel, right? Go ahead.
Wisdom raineth down skill.
Right?
And knowledge of understanding.
Wisdom rains down skill and knowledge of understanding. So you'll get the skill if you even better, go to Proverbs 1 and 5. How do we get the skill? How do we get the skill? Read that.
Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5.
Right, and then after this question, I think the sister, you had a question too. We'll go into that question. Go ahead.
A wise man will hear.
A what?
A wise man will hear.
You see that? A wise man will hear. So how do you get the skill? You will what?
Will hear.
A wise man will hear. Right? You will listen. Right? And read on.
And will increase learning.
And will increase in learning. Now, scripture just popped in my head. I want to grab this one. It's Ecclesiasticus. No, but we can go to that one. It's Ecclesiasticus. Hold on. Ecclesiasticus 32. So, I want you to go to Ecclesiasticus 32 and 18. So a wise man will hear and increase in knowledge. So how do you get the spirit of counsel? You got to listen. You got to be around wise counselors we're going to go into. You got to be around, that's what you were hitting, right? 6. After this one, we'll throw that one there. That's a good one. Go ahead, read that.
Sirach chapter 32 and verse 18.
Yeah, read that.
A man of counsel will be considerate.
You see? How am I going to get this counsel? Well, first of all, I got to consider counsel. I can't be a person that all of a sudden, people in the world, they know damn everything, but when you tell them something, what? They ain't trying to hear nothing. See, you see the key things that we got to be aware of? That, how do you know a person is not ready to teach others? Because they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear nothing, but they want to tell everybody else everything. But when it comes to them, they got 75 excuses. That's the report we be getting. I get those reports. That's why I'm like, no, that sister's not around nobody. Because the report I'm getting is that every time she sold something, she what? She got something to say. She want to rebut. Not only from the sister am I getting that report, I'm getting it from her husband. You see that? So we got to be careful when we pull her with younger sisters, because all she's going to do is show them what? A bad example. And a lot of people think, well, she got her head covered. She's meek. She's humble. Right? Bruh, you know how many sisters just walked in the door? She ain't meek and humble because she got on a headdress. Israel got to stop this religion. Like, just because they sit in class, that don't mean they're pure. You're going to know them by their works. You know them by their works. You know us by our works. Right? You know what I mean? Our character, what we do. Then you're saying, oh, man, these cats on the right track. Right? And then you'll see the oddball, too. Wait a minute. They're doing this. Something strange here. Oh, that must be the new person. Right? So a man of counsel, a woman of counsel will be considerate. You can't be a good counselor, brother, if you're not listening to counsel and understanding how to counsel. Right? I'm going to show you something else that goes with this. It's deep. Go ahead.
But a strange and proud man
right.
is not daunted with fear.
What does that mean? That means that you can tell this person ain't really ready to receive counsel because they what? They're doing things without advice. They jump into situations acting like they got it all. And it shows that they got no wisdom because the repercussions of what they do. See, a strange and proud man, they're not trying to hear advice and wisdom and hearing, my son, if thou will hear, right? They're not hearing that. You know what they're doing? They're doing it on their own. I've been in the truth 2-3 years, but you're still doing childish things. You still haven't put away childish things. Why is something? You should be listening. You should be right now trying to eat it up, man. Where's that scripture at? Oh, man, show me that. That's what should be done, right? Coveting the best gifts. Read.
Even when of himself he hath done without counsel.
See, that's a strange and proud man. They won't do things with counsel. But they be what? They be the first ones to run their mouth and act like they know something. No, that's not how it works. You're going to know them by their character. I'm going to sit back and watch you and be like, oh, okay, you're giving me this counsel. Okay, I'm listening to you. I want to see what happens when it's time for you to listen. When it's time for you to hear. Right? Are you what? Rebuttaling all the time? Coming up with an excuse? So this is what happens when this counsel is grown or rejected, right? We know that you won't be prideful, right? You will consider counsel. You see that? And then let's go further. Where are you at? Go ahead, read on. Finish it.
It's verse 19
now. No. Go to where you want to go.
Chapter 6, verse 33.
Where you at again, Mark?
Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 6, verse 33.
Go ahead.
If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
Right. That goes with the Proverbs 1. If you love to hear, that's when your senses are going to be exercised. That's when your counsel is going to get better. If you love to hear, if you love to listen. And how do you know you can listen? I know it sounds just like, this is an easy one, right? Well, then answer it. How do you know you like to listen? What's that, I want?
Your actions are going to show. You're going
You're going to consider the counsel you got. What else? What else? What's that, China?
I know with me, when I know I want to listen, I don't feel like all vexed in my spirit.
You don't feel vexed in your spirits?
Or aggravated or getting all.
Flustered in your stomach?
Yeah.
The butterflies coming out of nowhere because you're being told something?
Right, it's just subtle.
Right. So how do you know you are listening? Huh? What?
When you're quiet, you don't have no rebuttal. Just take the information and you apply.
There you go. When you're taking in the information, right? You're like taking it in, because if you think you know everything, you got a rebuttal. And a person that's receiving counsel knows that what? It's not that my mind is totally wrong. It's that now I'm getting the other side I didn't consider. That's what counsel is about. It's not that now you're the dumbest person on earth. It's that you didn't consider these other sides. And that's when we get into this counsel, this understanding more, you'll start seeing, yeah. Go ahead, read out.
And if thou bow thine ear.
If you what?
Bow thine ear.
And we go over this a lot. I know this is, for everybody here, this is something we pound in their ear because this is a problem with Israelites. They don't want to hear. And bowing is a what? Form of what? Submission, humility. That's why, nobody's really going to just bow your ear. That's symbolism to show you that what has to be done, right? For you to actually receive. You got to listen. You got to shut your mind down and understand that, okay, she's giving me a perspective that I'm not knowing, that I don't know, that I haven't applied. Obviously, because they're coming to me. Well, since you forgot this part, let me show you the part you didn't know. Right? And you know they're smart asses. Why? Because they got to have something smart to say, or they got to act like they're teaching you then. It's like, bro, chill out with all that. Just listen. Like, I never did that to my elders, man. I never did that to brothers that was teaching me. Like, trying to interrupt them and trying to add. I'm trying to get checked while adding. Y'all new generation are like, ugh. It's like, you're trying to add. You get checked, but you going to add to what I'm saying. Bro, if you was good receiving it, you shouldn't have did it in the first place. But this would be that youth, that shield you got to put up, because the world taught you what? Defend yourself. You can't be wrong. That's why I went over the whole class yesterday. We're all filthy. We're all wrong. We're all sinners. Get it over. Get over it. Right? Deal with it. Let's move on. Right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt be wise.
Right? This is where wisdom comes in. Listening. Go ahead.
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
No, stand in the multitude of the youngest sisters that don't know nothing, that just came in, that still got problems.
Stand in the multitude of elders.
That's how you're going to increase counsel, y'all. You're going to stand in the multitude of elders. You're going to stand around sisters that got something to say. And it tells us something else. I'm not going to jump. Go ahead.
And cleave unto him.
No. Run away from them.
Cleave unto him.
No, I'm not going to hit up CHAAZAQYA and CHAAZAQYA. I'm going to hit up the newest sister in the school.
Cleave unto him.
Oh, well, I like her because, well, here's the one. CHAAZAQYA is too light-skinned.
Cleave unto him.
Well, she's in the tribe of Issachar, and I don't really vibe with the tribe of Issachar.
Cleave unto him.
But that shows your youth. We Israelites. But that shows you're young. You know what I mean? CHAAZAQYA is too light skin. You know what? Where's the darkest sister here? Yeah, that's Sue. You're the chocolate sister here, so. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Trey Johnson. You just. No, man. You gotta go to the elder sisters. Why? Because yes, Basua and Trey Johnson are new. So okay, you know what? Yeah, they're the most chocolate, but they're gonna. Nothing wrong with it, but you gotta understand that they're new. They're not gonna be able to take you through the experience of certain things. Once again, it don't make them bad. It don't make them bad sisters. It don't make them, you don't just ignore them totally. Say shalom, talk with them. What we're talking about is you share numbers, and then you automatically, we know how it works. Automatically, you go to the sister that's in your phone. And you go to that young sister and you ask her, and that young sister, a lot of times, she's trying to do what's right, but she don't pay attention to, she don't know. You see that? You got to think about it. When's the last time a new sister got a call, got a text from another sister? I haven't heard of any account of it yet. And the sister told her, well, sis, you got to take this to the elder sisters. Now, I could be wrong, but I rarely hear those conversations. Brothers, yes. But when it comes to sisters, no, they're getting a whole full-fledged conversation with you. And we found out 3 months later, yeah, she talks to her all the time. I'm like, what? How did that, what? You see that? What is she telling that sis? What is she putting in her head? Is she dumping all her issues on her? She's new, she got issues. Why would you dump her issues on her? You see all these things? This is why the Most High said we got to look out for the flock. Because a lot of people don't know the process, and a lot of people don't give a damn about the process. And that's a problem, right? You're doing it at the detriment of your spirit. Because it says if you offend one of these little sheep, that is on you. Now, we know that. I know that. Do you know that? Go ahead.
Cleave unto him.
Go ahead.
That is wise.
Cleave unto him that is wise. Don't hang around with the youngest brother that you know he barely can't even speak. And I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm just trying to show y'all that you got to pay attention to the themes. The scriptures say covet the best gifts. It's not that brothers are bad, sisters are bad. It's that they got to get the skill. Go ahead.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
And let me stick around. Brothers, every time we're around each other, is it Bible? No, we can 1 minute we can talk about, Golden State is gonna whoop-de-whoop, right? And then the next minute be like, it be spiritual talk. Right? And there's nothing wrong with regular talk. But a lot of times you get to say, well, what were y'all talking about, sis? Nothing. We really weren't talking about, because you ain't stick around. You ain't try to engage in a conversation. You see that? Because, we're not going to, if we did that all the time, brothers would be like, damn, all we do is talk about scripture. And you know, you sisters be the same way. Showing me the scriptures. You know what I mean? Can't put on R&B no more. No more Jodeci, so it's scriptures. Then it's, every time we class, it's scriptures. Every time it's scriptures. So there got to be a little bit of, sis, how do you bake those cookies like that? Sis, how do you sew that line so nice? Right? There got to be a little bit of that. Right? Go ahead, Beyond.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Yeah, and let not the wise things escape you. See, but you gotta want to hear, you gotta want those things. Right? That's why it's the husband's job to understand your woman, and she's not doing it at home. Your spidey sense is supposed to be up and be able to say AI. Or baby, who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to the new sister. Why? Why are you talking to her? What y'all talking about? You know what I mean? Why y'all talking? What's happening? Right? Like, you should be talking to her. It's your job, because you are accountable if that sister tells her something wrong. Y'all got to understand, the scriptures say that there's going to be wolves among us. Does it not say that? What does it say about the good shepherd? They watch out for the sheep. So don't take it personal. Understand. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to tell y'all. Because we've already been dealing with it. So that's why I'm pressing an issue pertaining to his question. Like, how you get to this point. If you want to be a sister that can give counsel, well, then you should be listening. You should be adhering. Then when you go home, Your husband should see you applying. You see how there's no escape? All the fake phonyness, you can do it around everybody, but when you go home and you still a damn rottweiler, your husband is going to be able to say, AI. No, bro, she ain't ready. You see that? And then brothers, we got that unlocked because we watch brothers among us. They can go home and hide, but when they come among us, we're going to, and I know y'all thinking, well, how do you know, brother? Because y'all don't think we know? Y'all think the only way y'all going to do is tell us? You don't know there'd be a glitch. There'd be a glitch in brothers. Like, what's up with you, right? You alright? It'd be a glitch. I know y'all think, well, dang. Why do you think a lot of these classes come out? Because to remind the men, right? They got all these classes, all these counsels that we give them. So the men ain't escaping, the women ain't escaping. Let's do it the proper way. Read.
And if thou seest a man of understanding.
If you see a man of understanding, when Elisha saw Elijah, he said, let me have a double portion of what you got. He didn't be like, I want to double stay away from you. I'm going to stay away from her because why? She's going to check me. She's going to check me and I don't want to get checked because I got a problem getting checked from my husband. So what the other sister brought out? Well, we girlfriends and we never get checked. Right? Your rear brought that on the other class. And she's right. A lot of sisters come in with that mind. Right? That, we're all sisters. Like, nah. You come to get checked, cleansed, purged, revived, renewed, sanctified. But a lot of sisters don't want that. You want to hide behind your husband and hide behind the little voice. Yeah. No, you're not hiding. None of us can hide. We read that yesterday, right? John 3 verse 18 on down. If you about Yahweh Shai, you what? Come to it. You come to the light. You run into the light. You don't run into darkness. So you should be in that mind. Let me do it the right way so I can go ahead and actually heal the sister and not deter the sister and make her more weak. Is that wicked and wrong? For us to tell you, hey, do it right so you can be a help to a sister? If that's wrong, you're warped. Your brain is off. Right? Read on.
Get thee betimes unto him.
Right, get thee beat times unto him. Right? These brothers are constantly, hey, shalom, shalom. But what you always hit me up. Shaquat is always. Hey, shalom, bro. But, hey, I got a question. And he comes with listen, I just want to make sure I'm right. 90% of the time, he's already on point. But what he's learning is, he's making sure his mind is in the right place. You do it too. I want to double check this. Right? Brothers and sisters, do it. But y'all got to see the value in doing that. A man of counsel would be considerate. But a strange and proud person, they what? They'll do things with no fear. Right? They'll jump into situations with no wise counsel. So this is how you build this counsel. Right? Well, the Lord just don't pour it on me when I wake up. When you came in, you was anointed, and then you got, what is it? You got the spirit of counsel on you. Nah, bruh. It don't work like that. You know how you go get that spirit of counsel? Being under tutors and governors. Like the scripture says. Doing what it says in Ecclesiasticus. Wearing out the footsteps. And it's a process. You learn. Right? You shut out your mind and you learn the proper way. Go ahead.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Right. And you see why he keeps pushing that in? So don't hit me up. Hey, I didn't mean to bother. I know it's out of respect, but you're not bothering. You know what I mean? You don't gotta say that. Shalom, I just had a quick question on. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom. Wear out the steps. Because the more we pour into you, the more we're looking for growth. Right? The more we're saying, okay, you've been learning a lot. Are you picking up? Are you doing it? Go ahead, read.
Verse 37. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord.
See, if your mind is on the ordinance of the Most High, you're going to want to hear the wisdom. You see that? You're going to want to. We made that point. That point is made with this chapter. It just reiterates, miss not the discourse of the elders. Right on point. It goes right with it. We made that point. Let's go to Proverbs 19 and 20. And so that way we can jump to the sister's question. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 20.
Go ahead.
Hear counsel.
Well, do what?
Hear counsel.
You got to be able to hear counsel. You want to be able to receive counsel. You like that one? She smiled. Hear counsel. Yeah. You got to be able to hear counsel. Or you're not going to be a good counselor. You got to be ready to listen. Read.
And receive instruction.
And you got to be able to receive what?
Instruction.
Instruction. You want to be a good counselor, you got to go through the process and learn how to counsel. Right? Go to Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 1. Now, I could take the whole class on this. Y'all know this. I'm not. We're going to go this one and then the next scripture and then go to the sister's question. Because, you know, a lot of these questions can go for days. You know what I mean? Because there's so many scriptures on it. But I'm hoping y'all I wanted to take you through the steps. This is the process. You got to go through the principles, the basics. You got to be ready to hear. You got to be considerate of it. And then these things will what? You'll learn to love instruction. And learning to love instruction, you're gaining more instruction. Right? And then you're learning how to instruct. Right? You're learning the right and wrong things to say. Right? But if you're not trying to wear the store steps and you're steadily trying to hide, there will be no growth in any perspective. It doesn't matter. Right? Read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily.
Right. So we're talking about wisdom, just like it is in this question, Isaiah 11 and 1. Right? It said the spirit of wisdom will come on him. And then it goes through all these attributes, right? So we're talking about the same thing. Read on. You're going to jump over to verse 6.
And sweetly doeth she order all things.
And sweetly does she order all things. So, how do we get this wisdom? And how do we know we're in wisdom? Wisdom will order things correctly, right? Will guide things the correct way. Now, let's jump over to verse 6.
Verse 6. And if prudence work, who of all that is more cunning workman than she.
Right. So if prudence work, meaning if being wise works, right? It says, who of all that is a more cunning workman than wisdom. Who's more cunning than the wisdom of the Most High? See, and that's what it teaches you, how to have multiplicity with dealing with situations. It tells you that when the spirit of wisdom is poured on us, it says it's manifold, but yet one only. Right? Even in that, you're like, well, that don't make no sense. Manifold, but yet one only. But if you've got the wisdom of the Most High, you understand that wisdom can adapt, but wisdom is on one direct path. It comes from the Father. You see that? But this is what happens. This is the workmanship of wisdom. Right? Go ahead, read on.
And if a man love righteousness.
Right? But you got to love righteousness. You got to love to hear. You got to be humble. Read.
Labors are virtues.
Right. The labors. Right? So you're working for wisdom. But what you get from it is what? Virtues. And this is why a lot of people don't have virtues. And I know CHAAZAQYA did recently a good class on gifts, right? Hopefully he threw this one in here. But the virtues come from wisdom. Everybody always asks, well, how do I get this gift? You got to labor. You got to work. Right? We talk about it all the time. These basketball players ain't good at what they do because they're born out of the belly. No, they're raped, took it out of the belly, and the father's like, train the child in the way he shall go. and they put him in 3 years old in the basketball camp. Right? Shaq's kid, Sharif. You got Thompson, his dad. You got LeBron, right? Even the African cat, the Greek freak. Right? He said he was in a basketball camp in damn wherever he's from in Greece. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
You got a scripture?
Nah, Curry is a product of that.
There you go. Curry and his brother, right? And all they do is what? Train him the way he shall go, and then next you know, it ain't nothing but what? Training. You see, what we're doing right now is retraining your brain. That's why you got to be washed and cleansed, right? They call it brainwash, but we know what it means to be washed, right? So read on.
For she teacheth temperance.
What does wisdom teach?
Temperance.
Now, remember, his question's about counsel, but I didn't want to jump straight to the point because these attributes in here, and brothers and sisters, if you understand, if you wear out the doorstep of the wise, all these qualities, just waiting and listening, waiting to hear, teaches you certain virtues. But you are so worldly and jakish, you think, no, I don't got to do that. Right? I don't have to do that. No. Listen to what the Bible says. It works. You will learn these virtues if you do what the scriptures say. Read.
And prudent.
It teaches you how to be wise. Virtues, it'll teach you how to be wise. Prudence is wisdom, right? And look that word up. I want you to get a little deeper in that. Go ahead.
Justice.
It'll teach you what?
Justice.
Now, it's getting into this counsel. How do I know how to counsel? How do I know? Well, you got to be just first on how to counsel. You got to have true justice. Most of the brothers and sisters, come on, y'all. The way you think, I know because my husband, you make all the wrong decisions with your husband. Brothers make all the wrong decisions with their rib. How are we going to let you counsel another brother out when you can't even get your house together? Like, slow it down, bro. Let's get these things first before you think you know every damn thing. Right? And yes, me. I had to learn this too. I had to learn just because I knew that, and I keep telling y'all that because I want y'all to show everybody got to go through this. I had to learn it too. I didn't know everything. Just because I knew the Bible didn't mean I knew and I was experienced in the Bible. It wasn't until I grew up and I started putting away childish things. I started actually trying to be more like Christ. Y'all get this? What you got for prudence?
Prudence. Careful, wise discernment.
See, that's why I wanted you to go into it. Because the virtues, if you listen and you're hearing and you're trying to be obedient and be wise, it does what?
Careful.
It makes you careful. Like, I won't spew anything out if I don't know it. I'm going to say, hold on a second. Let me go to the high priest, Yeshaya. I got him on speed dial, so lucky me, right? I got the high priest on speed dial to go bounce around certain things, right? Or I'll say, you know what? Let me double check that. Something I just have to go back over again and make sure I'm on point with. Now, do brothers and sisters do that? No. When you first come in, all you want to do is pop that gun, don't you? You want to what? Yeah, but the Most High said, hold on. Is that what they asked? Right? Is that the direction you need to go for this individual? Like, this person might not need that. You might be thinking, oh, they need the soft touch when they need what? They need a sharp sword. They need to be rebuked sharply. But the scriptures say, you know what I mean? Rebuke them that all may fear, right? So I might have to rebuke this in the open. Or how do you know not just to rebuke him at the time without being in the open? See, it's so much that everybody thinks they're right until you really understand the Bible and you're like, damn, did I do that correctly? Did I mention that, like, did they need to be checked in the open? Oh, wait, it says after the first, second, and third admonishing, then that's when you got the way. Maybe this person needs to be told in the open because they're not hearing. Oh, wait a minute, they didn't want to hear the 2 or 3 witnesses. You see? It's a process. But if you're just jumping off, you won't know what's needed for this individual. Especially a person of counsel needs to know what is going on with the individual. So how the hell could you counsel when you don't know what the hell is going on with the individual? Right? You see, it's all these variables in there that will give you the wisdom on how to do it. Prudence. Go ahead.
Wise discernment.
Wise discernment. Right? How to discern, knowing what's needed. Timing. Right? The timing for a situation. Right? This might not be needed here. Right? It says, answer a fool according to his folly. Answer not a fool according to his folly. Okay, so now I got to discern when to pick that battle with who. Oh, it's a young brother. He might take that as offense. I'm going to approach this in another situation, in another way. I'm going to go at this battle differently. You see that? That's how counsel, and so many variables are added in counsel. Now, did you do that in the world? Hell no. You moved off of emotions. You moved off of what I feel, I think. Well, what I think, that woman intuition is trash. All that, well, my intuition is garbage. That ain't no intuition is supposed to guide us. Well, you know what? I just get a feeling, bruh. Nah, that feeling is trash. The Spirit is supposed to guide us. The Spirit of counsel, the Spirit of wisdom, the Spirit of might, the Spirit of understanding, right? Not the spirit of, I get shivers and the Spirit tells me. No, bro. No, you just got a cold breeze over you. That's all it is. What else?
The avoidance of rash behavior.
The what?
The avoidance of rash behavior.
You see what prudence does? So prudence, man, is all these characteristics, and it says it will give us these virtues. Me moving rashly, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, how I'm acting. Y'all see this, right? Right. All right. Go back to the scripture. Let's finish it up. Or you got something else? Okay, you got temperance. Let him read that real quick. What you got?
Temperance, patience, calmness, sedateness, moderation of passion.
Right. So I'm able to deal with it without letting it affect me and get me emotional. Right? Been talking about this one lately. How do I deal with it when the ignorance is so prevalent? You still got to be what? Calm? They use the word sedated. I don't like that word. It sounds like you're drugged up. But drugged up with the Spirit, right? You're calm. You're relaxed. You're poised, right? And think about it. How many of y'all, your rib get out of order, she get emotional, and you want to punch through her face? Right? Husbands, wives. Wives. Your kids get a little flushed, you what? You back. You're not backhanding them. You right here. You forearm back like, whoop. You be like, damn, sis. What the hell? When I see that in class, I be wanting to stop the whole class. It'd be like, man, don't hit your child like that. You know what I mean? Yes, you gotta whoop them, you gotta spank them, but you ain't gotta abuse them. But what would that be? What'd that be? That'd be the lack of temperance. That'd be no patience. See, those virtues you don't have. It's an easy discernment. Because you don't have those virtues, and you need those to be able to what? Teach your kids. Be there to listen to your husband and guide the house. And then and be this elder on this elder level to teach the sisters. Y'all see this? These qualities. Right? And I'm talking to you teenagers too. I'm talking to you teenage girls. Because these qualities you're going to have to learn to teach the younger sisters. You got to see, well, she she's just, what do I get? She's just so, she wants so much attention. Right? She just like, if I don't say shalom to her, she just thinks I'm totally against her. Right? Well, you got to be patient with that. She learned that from her mama. And that attention that she's trying to get, right? She doesn't know how to control herself. You see that. But sometimes you got to do what? You got to condescend. Hey, Shalom, how you doing? You got to approach individuals like that. But you see how these qualities, the Most High will instill in us and we'll learn if we're listening.
God.
Y'all see this?
God.
Y'all with me?
God.
Y'all tired already? Y'all ready to go? Okay, finish that. Go ahead.
Justice and fortitude.
Justice and fortitude. Go ahead.
Which are such things as men can have nothing more.
Okay, jump down to the main point real quick so we can go touch on the other sister's question. 9 verse.
Verse 9.
Therefore,
I purpose to take her to me.
I propose to take her to me. Go ahead.
To live with
Wisdom. Go ahead.
knowing
To do what?
knowing
I want to move her in. Not big booty Judy. I want to move in with wisdom. Right? Right? I want to move her close to me. Right? I want to snuggle up with her. Right? Not the world, not foolishness, but with wisdom. Go ahead.
knowing that she would be a counselor of good things.
So, how do I get that counsel? How do I get better at it? I got to snuggle up with wisdom, and she'll teach me how to counsel. She'll teach me how to give people counsel. You see that? Come. All right. It was his question. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. The next question you had, sis?
What all can we do for Sabbath?
Sabbath.
As far as preparation for food or, I know not cooking, but like, are we allowed to prepare?
You absolutely can cook on the Sabbath. You definitely can cook on the Sabbath. The thing is that we're going to go through it for you real quick. I'm going to try to go through it. If y'all got to leave, y'all got to leave. But everybody else, we're going to go through this. Because the Sabbath day, let's go to Leviticus. I'm going to show you something, sis. See, this is first of all, let me say this. The reason why there's not understanding given to brothers and sisters about the Sabbath, right? They're taking part of the scripture and not giving you the other parts. So now it gets confusing. Okay? So we got to go to Leviticus. Let's start at Leviticus 23 real quick. You're going to start at verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1.
And I'm going to just show you real quick. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses,
right?
saying, Speak unto the children of Israel,
right?
And say unto them,
right?
Concerning the feast of the Lord.
Concerning the what?
The feast of the Lord.
Now, what did you just get from that point right there, brother? The feast of the Lord, right? So, what is a feast? It's what? Right, I know, no. She's like, oh, damn, I just got it. No, we still gonna go through it with you. Right? It says you cook on a feast, right? You eat on a feast, right? Okay. Read on. Go ahead.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation.
Now, what's a holy convocation? Perfect. A holy gathering. What you got?
To eat.
You got feast first?
Come.
And then we'll go to holy convocation. Go ahead.
Feast. To eat sumptuously, to dine or sup on rich provisions.
Right. So that's what a feast was. We're cooking. We're preparing food. Right? This is what would happen on the feast days. Okay? What you got? Go ahead.
Come. Particularly in large companies and on public festivals.
Right. And we would feast in what?
Large companies on public festivals.
Large companies in public festivals. Okay? That's how our feasts were supposed to be done. Now we're going to go and show you why the one was grabbing sticks and the one in the scripture that says not to cook in your habitation or not to burn a fire. We did. Exodus. Right? Because why? you were supposed to be at the feast of the Lord. So it wasn't that you couldn't cook. It was that you weren't supposed to do it on your own. You were supposed to be with the people. You were supposed to be with the holy convocation. Convocation is what?
The act of calling or assembling by summons.
So you were summoned to follow these holy days. And these holy days were feast days. And on the feast day, right, you ate. And we definitely wouldn't eat no cold ass lamb or no cold food. Right? So we're going to go through it for you. Read on.
Even these are my feet.
Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done.
Right. Now, what's the first feast? What? The Sabbath day. So, if the Sabbath day is a feast, what do you do in a feast? You cook, you prepare, you get together, you have a holy convocation. What you gonna say? Oh, okay, I thought you had. Right, so that's what we do on a feast day. The first feast was the Sabbath day, right? We were supposed to take off what we were doing and follow this day, right? Go ahead, read on. I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Go ahead.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
The seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. You were supposed to rest from doing what? Go to Isaiah 58, verse 13. See, this is what brothers and sisters are not understanding. We were supposed to rest. What are we resting from? Somebody read that for me. Isaiah 58,
Isaiah 58, verse 13.
Read that.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure.
From doing what?
Doing thy pleasure.
Thy pleasure. Why? Because the feast day was about a gathering, being together. When it said Christ stood up in the temple, where was he? By himself, or was he in the temple? He was together with the people on the Sabbath. You see that? So we're getting a little bit on why the guy that picked up sticks and why it says about cooking in your habitation. We're going to get it. But I wanted to show you it is a feast day. You're going to cook. You're going to get together. You're going to work. But you weren't going to do your servile work. You weren't going to do the job work, right? Because it was supposed to be a relaxing from being a slave, right, to your work, to your about y'all, your people, y'all gathering. Because if you leave it up to Israel, and this is where people get it wrong, that you wouldn't even show up, like certain people think that I don't even show up for the Sabbath, right? I just stay home for the Sabbath, I don't move, and I eat cold food. There's some people that perform it that way. That's not the proper way. According to the law, it was a feast, and it was a holy convocation, a holy gathering. What we were supposed to stop is our pleasure, right? And what we're doing on the Sabbath, and how we go about, and we want to be about our stuff again. No, you're supposed to put that away. Get in class. Let's get together. Let's do the work of the Lord, right? That's what we do on the Sabbath day, right? We're here on the Sabbath in the mornings for Sabbath class, right? And after that, the brothers that are in the Hebrew Academy, they go out and we go street speak, right? Our day is not based off of, you know what I mean? We going to do our own thing. Y'all see that? Okay. Read on. Finish that.
From doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
From doing your pleasure on the holy day. Your pleasure is supposed to stop. So we know part of that pleasure is what? Sexual relations. So we don't have sex on the Sabbath day. Your pleasure. What is your pleasure? All the things that you were going to take pleasure in, you were supposed to be focused on the Most High, gathering together and congregating with the people and not worried about yourself. Right? And I want you to find the one where he was picking up sticks. Okay? So y'all see this so far. It's simple. If he said feast, we got to ask ourselves as we go back to Leviticus 23 and you read down, were those feasts all cold food? Think about it. Was the Passover a cold food? No, you had to roast that lamb. That was a feast. Right? Was the Feast of Lights cold food? Because if you know the law, some of our feasts were what? Who got it? Sabbaths. Some of our feasts were Sabbaths. So wait a minute. How can it be a Sabbath and I was supposed to cook before? How does that make sense? How we got a feast day, but it's on a Sabbath? Nah. It was about you cutting out your pleasure and what you're doing. Finish that.
And call the Sabbath a delight.
Right? And you were supposed to lock into the rest. Remember, the Sabbath was made for you, not you for the Sabbath. So the Most High created this day for you to what? Take off a load. To worry about your brothers and sisters. To get together. Right? To unite and do those things. To build community. That's what it was about. Go ahead.
The holy of the Most High, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways.
Right, not doing your own ways. See? Now, I want y'all to put this in your mind. Now we can get why this guy that was picking up sticks on the Sabbath was wrong. Because he's doing his own ways, right? Think about it. We just came out of Egypt. We just been freed from burden, bondage, and slavery, right? You've been given the commandments what to do on the Sabbath. And what do you know? One old little crispy Israelite want to what? Go do his own thing. That wasn't what's supposed to be done. You were supposed to follow the commandment and what? Have a holy convocation, right? Right. So we're, hold that. Jump over there real quick.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 32.
Numbers 15 and 32. I don't want to move too fast, but I know we're pressed for time. Numbers 15, 32. We are going to have Sabbath class. We're going to have Sabbath class in the morning. A lot of people ain't going to be here because the sisters are going to be cooking for the feast day. Because what do you know? The feast fell on a what?
A Sabbath.
Sabbath. The Feast of Pentecost falls on the Sabbath. The sisters got to cook all the food for the Sabbath, for the feast day, right? And we're going to celebrate it. We're going to celebrate it that night because we're in captivity in hell, and I wish everybody could just get off of work, but it ain't like that. So we're waiting till everybody get out of work, and then we're going to get together. We're going to eat at the beach. All right? There's not going to be a lot of people here because the brothers have to work because the sisters have to be cooking. But y'all that show up, we're still having Sabbath class. Okay? All right. Just to let you know. So where we at?
Numbers chapter 15, verse 32.
Go ahead.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness,
right,
they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day.
Right. Now, what was the order? Rest, come together. It wasn't that he was picking up stuff, and I got to throw that one in there. I don't know if that was in your mind too, because there's brothers that think I don't even supposed to pick up things. I don't even supposed to do no picking up that stick. They were like, that's servile work. It wasn't about him picking up the stick. You can clean up your house. You can be together. You can tell the kids, take out the trash. Right? It was that we were out of captivity, out of slavery, and this one Israelite didn't want to listen to what we were supposed to be doing. He wanted to be an individual. Right. And you say, well, why? How do you know that, CHAAZAQYA? Well, why was Christ picking corn on the Sabbath then? If Christ picked corn on the Sabbath, and this guy's picking sticks up, doesn't those complement each other? Why would Christ be doing something that's against the law? He's not. So it wasn't that it was the picking up of the sticks. It was that this man didn't do what was commanded of him. Right? Read on. Come on.
And they that found him gathering sticks
Uh-huh.
brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in work, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
Right?
And the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall surely be put to death.
See, behold the goodness and severity of the law, right? Yeah, you weren't doing what the Most High commanded, gathering and feasting with each other. So guess what? We're going to put him to death. Why? Because you're not listening. You're trying to be an individual and do your own program. Y'all understand that? Okay. Now, mind you, if it was about the sticks, why would Christ do and pick corn on the Sabbath? Why? He wouldn't. So it is not about the sticks, it's about he wasn't gathering. Y'all get that? Okay, alright. Now go from there, go to Exodus 35 and 3. I want you to go back to Isaiah 50. Where did we left off at?
58, verse 13.
Where you left off at, finish reading.
Not doing thine own way.
Not doing your own way. That was the point. You're doing your own way. The Most High is not with that. You're supposed to be doing what everybody else is doing. Right? Go ahead.
Nor finding thine own pleasure.
You see that? Now you finding your own thing. Right? You doing your own thing instead of saying, nah, what is the congregation doing? What is the body doing? Go ahead.
Nor speaking thine own word.
Right. Listen, you were supposed to be praising the Most High. Making this day a day about the Most High. A day about the body. Right? It wasn't supposed to be like, oh, this is a day, you know what I mean, where I'm off now so I can get in all my arguments now. You know what I mean? This is a perfect day. Whew, Friday I'm out of work now. I can create arguments out of nowhere. Brother, you were supposed to leave all that alone. Right? Like we have to check the cats on Facebook. Like they want to argue on the Sabbath. It's like, brother, you so hard about the Sabbath, but when they actually have to follow righteousness, they don't want to apply it. Right? They'll do the carnal things, but the spiritual things, they won't apply. You're going to hear this a lot of times. You got to apply the carnal, the proper way, and the spiritual. Yeah.
Can you work on the Sabbath?
Can you work on the Sabbath? We're going to find out. We're going to find out if you can do that, right? Should you? Could you? Is it against the Most High, right? Read this, Exodus 35 and 3.
Exodus chapter 35 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitat.
Throughout your habitation.
Upon the Sabbath day.
Throughout your habitation. So you weren't going to cook in your habitation. Look up the definition of habitation. I got it here. It says to dwell. It says to hold. It says, or as we say in English, to keep. Act of inhabiting, state of dwelling. Right. So what did that mean? You weren't going to be doing this in your place. Why? Because what would they do? Well, I'm cooking. I'm keeping the feast at my house. I don't gotta go with y'all. I don't gotta hold it complicated. I'm keeping the feast with me and my family. You weren't supposed to do that. You weren't supposed to kindle in your habitation. You were supposed to go do what everybody else was doing. Not your pleasure, not your desire, not your will. Right? Yet, once again, that's usually our problem, right? Right. So read it again. Exodus 35 and 3.
Exodus chapter 35 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation upon the Sabbath day.
Right.
And Moses spake.
Okay, so let's go back to Isaiah and finish that up, and then we're going to go back to Leviticus. Then we're going to go to Numbers. Am I moving too fast? Now? Okay, I'm trying to get through it, but at the same time, I'm trying to get the information. Sis, am I moving too fast? So it's clear. Okay, go ahead, read.
Verse 14. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Most High.
Right. Well, we don't do our way, our pleasure, right? Speak our words, then we're delighting in the Most High. It was supposed to be about Him. It was supposed to be about the body. It was supposed to be about the gathering. Remember, why was He so strict on the gathering, the holy convocation? Why? Why did He get on this guy?
Because he wasn't in unity.
Yeah, because the Most High deals with unity. He don't deal with individualism. He deals with unified. And everybody that been coming to those morning classes, everything's about, no, y'all gonna do it this way. The law was so technical, everything had to be done a particular way, and if you did it wrong, you were put to death or you were removed from the situation. High level, when the high priest did it wrong, they were put to death. But a lot of cats will be moved out of those positions, right? So you had to do it the way the Most High wanted. All right? So we're done with Isaiah. Jump back over to Leviticus 23.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done.
Right.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
Right. Now, so no cooking in your habitation. Well, what about cooking? What about eating? Is it okay? If you're saying, well, because we get together and we do get together, but I'm in another city. Is it wrong for me to cook? Really, right? Is it wrong for me to cook? I'm on the internet with y'all, right? I'm on the internet and I'm learning, but I can't get with y'all. I'm just in another state. You know what I mean? Could I cook with my family? Well, what did the priest do? What did the priest do? Go to Numbers. What was the priest supposed to show us? I want all you brothers and sisters that be in every Saturday morning class, what was the priest supposed to show us? Go ahead.
They did burnt sacrifices on the Sabbath.
No. That's not what I asked you. What did I ask you?
What did they show us?
Right. What were they supposed to show us? Right. They were supposed to show us an example, right? They were supposed to show us the difference between the clean and the unclean. What to do and what not to do, right? Now, would the priest do things that was wrong? The wicked ones, yeah. But in essence, when they did things according to the law, were they not showing us what to do with the law? Come? All right. So let's go to Numbers. Yeah, just hold that one. Let's go to Numbers, the 28th chapter. And you're going to read, right?
Yeah.
The 9th and the 10th verse.
Exodus chapter.
Numbers chapter 28, verse 9.
Go ahead.
And on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2 tenth deals of flour for a meat offering.
For a what?
For a meat offering.
So you had the lambs, you had the meat offering, and then read on.
Mingled with oil.
Right. Now, mind you, was this red meat? Were they Edomites stirring up meat within the lamb, within the flour? Because we went over this in Sabbath. The meat offering literally is different from the lamb. The meat would be flour and oil. But you see lamb was in there this time. So they mixing this good jambalaya, right? Right? Red meat? This was raw? The priest is for to eat like the damn Africans? No. Right? This is what the priest was doing. Right? Read.
And meat offering mingled with oil, and the drink offering.
Right? Right?
This is the burnt offering.
Wait. This is the what?
Burnt offering.
But that's a fire. That's a fire. That's cooking, right? So wait a minute. How could burning something, the fire, right, outside just be wicked? What was it about the Most High wanted us to do with Israel? Come on, y'all can grab a seat over here, y'all. Come on. Grab a seat. You got one? Ariana, you can come up. Oh, there's one over here? Okay, there you go. One over there. Somebody can come up here. We can put a seat up here. Right. Oh, there you go. There you go, young man. Do your thing. Right? All right. You know he ain't gonna slide behind you. Get up. There we go. Okay, so we get in this, right? What are we getting then? What are we reading? I know you know. I'm trying to see if. What are you getting, sis? Yeah.
Holy convocation.
Right.
Yes.
Holy convocation, right? But you know what we're reading, sis? We're reading that the priests, they did a burnt offering, which is fire. They cooked meat, right? And guess what? They were going to eat this offering. So it was not wrong for them to cook, burn the fire, and eat food that's cooked. That's not wrong. It's not wrong for us to do that. So if a brother tells me, well, I'm in another city, I can't gather y'all. Right now, we're in this captivity. And it just ain't going to be like we want. Like, we got our own business in the mall, but we can't close down the business. Right? The Sabbath day. It would be nice, but we can't. We're not Chick-fil-A. Right? To where they close on Sundays and they still make millions. Our school determines that money. Right? The teaching determines this money. Right? But not only that, what about brothers and sisters that got jobs on the Sabbath day? Right? What do? You're going to be like, everybody quit their jobs? Now, you can get off on the Sabbath. I say this, by all means do it. Because you need to be here with us. But if they can't, what do? You be like, no, brother, the Most High is going to condemn you. The Most High, you're not honoring the Sabbath day. That's why we got to go into Christ and understand that it's not lawful. It's not unlawful to do good on the Sabbath. The Most High knows this is needed for you. He knows what's needed for you. Now, if you can get off, I'm going to say it again. Take off. But it's about your conscience, right? You want to know, damn, am I doing the things and the laws of the Most High? Well, Christ already told us it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. If you're feeding your family, your kids, and you can't get off, then he's not going to condemn you because you can't get off your job. You understand that? We got to understand this, and I think when this question comes up, that's what everybody wants to know. Are we doing right on the Sabbath? Right? Are we following it correctly? And the misinformation is, oh, you don't supposed to do nothing. Well, if that's the case, then why Christ did it? Why was Christ out there doing it? Well, he was doing the work of the Lord. But listen, he still was doing things. Right? Right? We do servile work, picking up the signs, going out there to mic, doing all those things, right? We do that. Right? So why is one justified and one condemned? Right? We got to understand, Yahweh Shai was showing us, you're not condemned, but the Sabbath day is supposed to be minded towards the Father. Right? Our mind and our goal is supposed to be locked into the Father. Whatever you're doing. For that brother on I always bring up the truck driving brother that can't get off, he's been driving for a week straight. Right? Does he got to feel condemned because he's on the road? Right? Does he got to eat cold food all the way? I mean, listen, in the kingdom, we're going to do it how it's supposed to be done. We're not going to have to worry about jobs. We're not going to have to worry about you have to do anything. But what? Get together, holy convocate, eat together, rejoice, happy, and congregate, right? But right now, those brothers and sisters are not condemned because Yahweh Shai said so. It wasn't there to destroy us. It was there to give us rest and take out from the work and the rigmarole of this kingdom and whatever world. Right? So, we're reading about the priests. and what they did. Did they do something unlawful or wicked on the Sabbath? By cooking and eating? That food had to be cold? No. No. So read it again from the top.
Numbers chapter 28, verse 9.
Go ahead.
And on the seventh day, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2 10 deals of flour for a meat offering,
right,
mingled with oil,
read,
and the drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath.
This is the burnt offering of what?
Of every Sabbath.
Now, hold that. Where you at? Write this down, y'all.
Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 23.
Now, remember, y'all, what's your name again, brother? Lionel. Lionel? Okay, this is online, sis, too. So you can always go back, go back over the scriptures, you know what I mean? And everything, it'll be online. If you need to go back, you can rewind it past the other and get right to this point. All right, go ahead. Where you at?
Ezekiel 44 and verse 23.
Read that. Ezekiel 44 and 23.
Ezekiel chapter 44 and verse 23. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane.
The priests were there to show us the holy and profane. You're not going to say, well, it's wrong. It was okay for them to do it. They were going to do what was right in the law. They were going to show us how to do it in the laws of the Most High. Right? Because now we're understanding these offerings, even when you say the people had to bring these offerings. Right? So where's the work at? I thought you weren't supposed to work. You bring those animals to the priest, and then the priest had to do what? They had to go through the process. Right? They were going to show us between the clean and the unclean. Go ahead.
The profane. And cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean.
Right. Like, think about it. Why? You're telling us to do one thing according to what we thought, right? Not to do no work, not to cook, but then the priests are doing it? That's my discernment is going to be way off. Because you got them doing something and me doing something. No, they're not off. The thing is that our understanding is off. Because if we had it correct, then we would understand, look, these things were to be done, right? On feast days, we were cooking. You're done with that. Go finish that real quick. You're going to read down to verse 10. Then we're going to go to Ezekiel 45.
Verse 10. This is the burnt offering
right?
of every Sabbath.
This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath. Go ahead.
Besides the continual burnt offering and his drink offering.
Right. So, yes, they were. Now, check this out. Furthermore, go to Ezekiel 45 and 17.
God, Ezekiel chapter 45 and verse 17.
Go ahead.
And it shall be the prince.
Where are we at?
Ezekiel chapter 45 and verse 17.
Y'all should be writing these down, because when somebody runs up to you and be like, brother, you're doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath, you got to be able to say, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. What does the law say, brother? You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And it shall be the prince's part,
right,
to give burnt offering.
Wait a minute. So the prince had to do what? Give a burnt offering. So what were they doing? They were bringing this stuff to the priests, right? Come on now. That's the work, right? It wasn't that he was picking up sticks, it's that you weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing. Where's your offering to the priest? Right? Read.
Burnt offering. And meat offering.
Go ahead.
And drink offering.
Read.
In the feast.
In the what?
In the feast.
Read.
And in the new moon.
Wait a minute. So in the feast you're giving this offering, and in the new moon, right? Now, what are you doing with this? Once again, what are you doing with the animals? We eating cold meat? Bloody meat? Let's think about it. Read.
And in the Sabbath.
In the what?
Sabbath.
In the what?
Sabbath.
In the Sabbaths. Why? Because all of our feasts, some of our feasts were Sabbaths as well. So a lot of these days like Pentecost, we're doing it tomorrow. It's on a Sabbath day. We're going to feast on that day. we're going to have a holy convocation on that day. Y'all getting this? Okay. Go ahead.
In all solemnities.
Right, go ahead.
Of the house of Israel. He shall prepare the sin offering.
Right, what verse are you at?
Still 17.
Go ahead.
The sin offering and the meat offering and the burnt offering and the peace offerings to make reconciliation for the house of Yasharallah.
Check that out. Now go to Ezekiel 45 and 4.
Come. Verse 4. The holy portion of the land.
Right. I'm sorry, excuse me, y'all. Ezekiel 46 verse 4. Pardon.
Ezekiel chapter 46 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
And the burnt offering that the prince shall offer unto the Lord.
Read.
In the Sabbath day.
In the what?
Sabbath day.
So once again, you're lighting a fire. You're cooking on the Sabbath day. It's not wrong. Right? Ideally, technically, you were supposed to be around everybody. But is the Most High going to condemn you because you can't make it, or you're across the world, or you're on the internet, or, right, you have to eat that day? You're going to be like, no, it got to be cold? Nah, that's not what it is. Read.
The Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish.
Come on now. Read.
And a ram without blemish. And the meat offerings shall be an ephah for a ram. And a meat offering for the lambs.
Right. Okay, so do we get that? Is that clear? Right. I hope y'all wrote it down. Y'all can go back over it and read it. Right. It's really not a lot of edification I have to go over. All I had to do was show you in the scriptures what they did on the Sabbath day. Show you that what? If the priest did it, obviously the people, it wouldn't be against the law. What was against the law was us doing our own things and our own pleasure and not doing it with the congregation, and not doing it with the body. Then I would go to Matthew's, and I went over this the other day. What you can do here, sis, you can go over Matthew's. The what? What chapter?
Matthew 12.
Right. So it says, write down Matthew 12. Right? That'll be the homework. And then if you go over it, how it correlates with the Sabbath day, how Christ walked and dealt on the Sabbath day, and then come back, and then we can talk about it if you have any questions on it. All right? But I wanted to go into the law. Usually I go straight to Christ. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into the law and just show them that in the law, we did these things on the Sabbath. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Khan, I was trying to find what book and chapter we were in for the last verse, verse 17.
What was it, Ezekiel?
Ezekiel chapter 45, verse 17.
Yeah.
Okay, Khan.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions on anything? Anything online? We ended at 9 because we're back here for Sabbath morning class at 10. So that's why I try to get through it, not to keep you here late. We got to wake up early to get back here, and it only seems like a few hours. So that nobody got any, I mean, you got any questions? La? Okay, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
One lady said, was the difference that one was inside and one was outside?
No, the difference was that the law, it said holy convocation. He wasn't doing it. Well, what is she talking about? What part? Does it say?
She typed it at 8:52.
Right. What sis? This is sis, right? What does it say as far as when you're saying when did she do it or when did they do it? Are you talking about what are you talking about? What is it pertaining to? I'm trying to see over there and I can't see.
Was the difference that one was inside or one was outside?
Pertaining to what though? Pertaining to what? Get a little more specific on your question. What else? We'll wait a few seconds for that to come through. everybody else. I Majum Upanya Hakudam, which is stand and face the east. Remember, and just pertaining to your question, sis. Pertaining to your question, it wasn't really about where one was in, one was out. It was about what was right, either to do it or not. It didn't have anything to do on the inside or the outside. Okay? So hopefully that'll answer the question. Alright? Let's salute everybody online. Say shalom. Shalom! We'll see y'all in Sabbath class online in Houston tomorrow.
And all the brothers and the sisters.